Planet Earth, home to over 6 billion people, all of whom have only one question on their minds. What's for dinner?
This is the big world of food. I'm your host, Chef John Veronese.
My favorite cut of beef? Actually, I like beef with a little tooth to it. I love to go up to Veronese and get the flat iron steak. You know, maybe you can't cut it with the side of your fork, but you kind of have to work at it. It's lots of flavor. So I'm going to order that before I get a prime rib or a filet mignon.
It's probably cliche, but I like filet mignon.
I'll buy a beef tenderloin and grill that.
Any preference?
I like beef jerky. Beef jerky's good.
Grass-fed beef. With all due respect, some portions of today's episode may not be suitable for vegetarians.
I'm here with Ron Mikulak, the food editor of the Courier-Journal, to help us understand gradings of beef and what to look for when you're in the grocery store and you see that huge showcase of beef and just feel totally lost. And we're also going to discuss about grass-fed beef and why it's more healthy for you. Ron has been very experienced in the meat and grading and has looked into a lot of different things and knows a little more than I even do about beef and has really looked into the history and where it's all began. So why don't you share with us, the viewers, of why beef grading became such an important thing in our industry?
I first got interested last year, John, when you did your first Kobe beef dinner, and I was really interested in finding out how that kind of beef grade differed from the ordinary beef that we were able to find in American grocery stores. What I discovered is that the grading system for American beef developed back in the 1920s when commercial beef raisers wanted to have a system for consistent quality that their consumers could depend upon and know what they were getting. And so the USDA devised a grading system and trained inspectors and graders to look at a beef carcass and determine from the appearance and ratio of fat to lean in the meat a range of grades of beef. Now I understand there are 8 different grades of beef, only 3 of which really do we really find easily and commonly in the supermarket. Those top 3 grades are Select, Choice, and Prime, and really the Prime we really don't find a great deal of in the ordinary supermarket because there's only, less than 3%?
Yes.
Of American beef is graded prime, and that mostly goes to the restaurant industry.
And you're talking about the grading of the beef by body mass, which in the industry is BMS, which is the body weight to fat ratio, or the marbling ratio.
Yes.
And that scale starts on a 0 to 12.
As I understand, the graders look at a particular part of the carcass.
Welcome to the big world of beef. From the chuck portion of the cow comes boneless chuck, cut short ribs, arm shock ribs, and blade steak, and of course ground beef. From the rib portion comes the delicious prime rib, ribeye steak, and bone-in ribeye steak. From the short loin comes top loin, T-bone steak, porterhouse steak, and beef tenderloin, or better known as filet mignon. From the round portion of the cow comes, of course, round steak, heel of round steak, top round steak, and ground beef. From the flank of the cow comes flank steak as well as ground beef. From the plate of the cow comes short ribs and ground beef. From the brisket comes beef brisket and corned beef brisket. Now back to John and Ron.
Aspect of grain-fed beef that has been sold to us really as a mark of the quality. And now that we're rethinking that, I think, and so the grass-fed beef really is as a different quality of fat and lean, and not only in terms of the amount of fat, but also the kind of fat, as I understand.
Yeah, and when you're talking about fat that you're looking for, we're not talking about the exterior fat. We're talking about the marbling, which is that striation of fat, which is the amount of unsaturated fat and the meat that is much healthier for us as the exterior fat in the beef.
I actually understand that from at least one butcher, I think the butcher at Whole Foods said they occasionally get some prime cuts, but they don't sell very well because the customers think it looks too fatty.
Only if they understood that piece is going to melt in their mouth.
Yeah. But the animals put on weight more slowly with grass-fed, but they don't need all these other supplements that enable them to metabolize.
So grass-fed beef, you're going to find a little smaller. You notice this cut of ribeye compared to the other ones are smaller because they're not really trying to beef up the cow. Mm-hmm. It's more natural. I mean, there's lots of reasons why I believe and why I like to serve grass-fed beef that, you know, more nutrition, fuller flavor, and just I think the cow tastes better when it was raised better, when the cow was happy. A happy cow, I think, tastes better.
Yeah, well, I think that is the argument that people are making about feedlot raised animals, that there's disruption of their whole sort of life cycle.
Well, there's a difference when the cows are standing on top of each other as to where they're in the pasture and they're grass-fed. And grass-fed cows have a lot less chance to have E. coli contamination. So on a health aspect there, it's healthier. The animal's treated a lot more humanely, and that's how they're supposed to be raised. You know, in the old days, they were raised on the range, grazing on grass, and it produced much more healthier beef as to the stuff that we're trying to mass produce today.
So I guess the issue we have to raise is the issue of taste and flavor and texture. The reason we have these kinds of grain-fed fatty things is because we've been told and we've been sort of trained to appreciate the flavor of this, and there's no doubt that there is a flavor issue that we are used to, and the flavor of the grass-fed is somewhat different.
And it's a lot healthier for you, and this is why we choose to enjoy grass-fed over the grain-fed, and again, why we support the local farmer and what they do. We discovered before with Janie talking about biodynamic farming. So, well, wonderful, Ron. I appreciate you coming by today to discuss with our viewers about grades of meat and what to look for in the grocery store. And hopefully next time that you guys are in the grocery that you think about what we talked today and you have a better chance of looking for something that's a little better to put on the table at home.
Take your taste buds on a tour of Kentucky.
It's a lot of fun.
Watch Secrets of Bluegrass Chefs with host Tim Laird, Saturday nights at 10:30 on WBKI.
Tune in to The Barbara Bryant Show, weekday mornings at 6:30 on WBKI, CW7.
Veronice, eclectic contemporary Mediterranean cuisine, extensive wine list, 4 Seasons patio, exciting atmosphere, fresh Kentucky proud local ingredients, vegetarian friendly, live jazz 7 nights a week. For more information, call 502-899-9904. Veronice, 2106 Historic Frankfort Avenue.
Today with Kristen Malone, Sullivan University Baking and Pastry Program. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good, how are you?
So where are you from, Kristen?
I'm from right here in Louisville. I grew up in Crestwood, and I'm here locally.
So staying local, going to school. What made you choose Sullivan University?
Well, I knew I always wanted to be in some kind of cooking world, and I went to a regular university for a few years, and I decided it wasn't really my thing, so I came here, and it fits. It's home.
Well, why baking and pastries?
Culinary and baking and pastrying are 2 completely different worlds, and I felt I enjoy cooking, but my passion is baking, and when I'm in here and I'm doing my thing, it's fire, and I love it.
Excellent. A lot more detail in there, huh?
Oh yeah, it's definitely more of an art.
What do you enjoy most about Sullivan University?
I like the close-knit community. I know all of my teachers. I know a lot of the students. It's a great environment. Everyone's here to really help you. You really feel, you know, like you're wanted here and you're wanted to be successful. So
it's definitely easier to learn when you're in a comfortable environment.
Exactly, and I know all my teachers and I can talk to them about anything. So.
What's the most important thing that you're learning here that you think you're going to take with you in your career?
I think just the basic know-how, all of the technicalities in each of the areas that we work with, a lot of the bread making and the cakes that we do. It's good to know every detail of it for when we get out there in the industry.
Well, where are you in your program right now?
I'm in my second quarter. I'm getting ready to finish with my finals, and then I'm going to go on to baking 2, which is a lot of bread work and some cakes.
Excellent. So what are you going to do when you graduate from Sullivan?
Hopefully I want to do an apprenticeship, maybe in Europe somewhere, and go travel. And you know, I'm young, I have all the potential, so I definitely want to get that out there and experience everything I can before I can settle down into wherever I decide to go. So
definitely a smart move. What do you think you would like to do in the future, long term? What kind of goal do you have?
Probably own a cake decorating shop, maybe work in a high restaurant, working as a pastry chef there. I haven't really narrowed it down yet, but those are kind of where I want to go.
Well, it's all about exploring the options and finding things out.
So that's what I hope to do when I graduate, is know exactly what I want to do by exploring every option.
Well, excellent. Well, thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon, Kristen.
Thank you.
Well, that was Kristen Malone from Sullivan University and future pastry chef.
Interested in a career in hospitality? Give us a call at 502-456-6505 or check us out at sullivan.edu. How to Buy brought to you by Creation Gardens, reminding you that dining out makes you happy, so let's start smiling again.
We have tasted the best organic coffees and a variety of wonderful teas. Now we're going to learn about ingredients that's going to enhance those flavors of those delicious drinks. And now we're here with Patricia from Creation Gardens.
Hi there, John. We've got some great things here today to kind of spice up the things that you're drinking. Right here we've got some great Calibo chocolate that can be shaved or grated over your drinks. Also some nice cocoa here. Right here we've got some fresh vanilla beans, and these are great. They're real juicy.
Just cut open the pod here and scrape away the seeds to get the vanilla from the pod.
And that's got tons of great flavor in it. And right here in front of you we've got some cardamom pods right there that you might taste in your teas. Also some nutmeg that if you grate it you can get either the mace or the nutmeg from it.
A little microplane here and nice little quick grating.
That's right, and you could do the same thing actually with the cinnamon sticks.
All right, fresh cinnamon and nutmeg.
And all that's going to give great flavor to your drinks, John.
Also, and we have a little bit of clove here and sugar in the raw. And as you said, the mace before was the outer coating of the natural nutmeg. Well, Patricia, thank you for showing us how to shop today.
Thank you.
Would you know the difference between just grass-fed or the more traditional, go to the store and buy?
Right. Meat tastes like exactly. But you were talking about that the other day, finding people that do their own, and that's the grass-fed usually, right? Like if you find local people creating their own meat, and then it's not quite as abusive to the animal as well. Is that right? I mean,
exactly.
It's a more humane way of getting the meat.
Grass-fed beef. With all due respect, some portions of today's episode may not be suitable for vegetarians.
Today I'm here at Foxhollow Farms to discuss why grass-fed beef is such a healthier choice for us. And later, David Ragsdale, the operation manager of the grass-fed beef here at Foxhollow Farm, is going to show us how cattle is raised and cared for. Well, David's brought me out to this beautiful pasture here where he's grass feeding his cows on biodynamic farm here at Foxhollow. And he's going to explain with us why grass-fed beef is so important and why it makes such a better product.
Well, the reason we're grass feeding these cattle out here at Foxhollow is that We believe that it's better for the environment. We also believe that it's better for the consumer. So those two things in hand, I think it's very important what we're trying to do here. We track these cattle from the day they're conceived to the day they're consumed. So each individual animal is ID'd and individual identification, and that way we can track it for the people that are going to consume this meat later on from the Foxhollow farm.
Now, grass-fed is you just can't just throw them out in the pasture and let them graze on grass. There's certain types of grass that they eat, and certain things that you do differently during the process of their growth.
That's correct. Here at Foxhollow, we have primarily what we call cool season grasses, and we're standing on fescue grass right now. It was a grass developed by the University of Kentucky back in the 50s, and these cattle consume this forage most of the winter time here in Kentucky. It's not very adaptable for summertime forages, but we want a certain percentage of our grass to be this fescue grass for this time of year. And it's unique. You know, they grass feed cattle all over the world. In Argentina, in Australia. We're a little behind in this country, and I think with a little bit of education, I think we can catch up. I believe it's a better product for the consumer. A lot of people I've been in the cattle business all my life, and I have a lot of friends that would debate that with me, but I'm here to say that through the genetic selection and the forage quality that we have at Foxhollow, we can produce a product that's very, very comparable to the meat that's produced in a feedlot, probably, and a lot better for you.
So where's your cattle rated here? How many stars have you gotten in their genetic line of tenderness?
Well, the sires that we're using right now, we've got 2 bulls that are 3 stars for tenderness, and 1 bull we just pulled DNA on this week, so we're trying to find out what he is. But his pedigree says that he's going to be fairly tender, but we just want to verify it through the DNA test.
And through generations that you work up the amount of tenderness or perfecting that pedigree that you're raising?
Yes, when you increase the number of stars in that animal's pedigree, then you're going to get an eating experience that's going to be very comparable to as good as you can get anywhere in any high-end restaurant. So that's my goal here at Foxhollow, is to make the eating experience every time as good as I possibly can make it.
And good it is, David. John stuck by David's side for the remainder of the day at Foxhollow Farm, learning everything he would need to know about cattle farming for a grass-fed beef herd.
It's alfalfa and orchard grass.
Almost kind of like an alcohol smell to it a little bit.
Well, it's been fermented, okay, and it's been put in recyclable plastic, and then we recycle the plastic when we get done. We wrap this product.
And why do you want to ferment it?
Well, it increases the relative feed value of the feed, about doubles it, so we can get more carbohydrates into these cattle. But it's still grass-fed. It's not grain-fed, but it's very comparable to it's very comparable to any kind of feed stuff that you could feed them that was high in carbohydrates, which would be similar to corn, but it's not corn.
It's funny how aromatic this is.
It's real.
It's not like bad. It decompose.
No. You'll know when you don't get it put up right if you let oxygen get to it. When you let oxygen get to this product, it's not a very good feed pile. It goes in the compost pile. But we're real diligent about what we try to do when we harvest this product as far as keeping our moisture levels good. And when we're doing this, we're usually using about 5 people. We have extra people come in when we're putting this product up, so we make sure that we make it right. Because if we wrap 300 rolls of this stuff and it's not any good, it's $22 a roll is what it cost me to make it. And there's 2 rolls of feed that have been processed and put in this feeder today. So these cattle will consume this in 2 days, and it'll be filled up again in 2 days.
How many cattle?
There's 23 head of cattle in here right now.
So is this what you feed them before they're ready for processing?
This is what they're getting fed in the winter time before they get processed for consumption. So this is very comparable to this pasture that they're on. This is orchard grass and alfalfa pasture. This is very comparable to relative feed value of what the cattle get fed in the summertime when they're not being fed a harvested forage.
How long do they have to feed on this?
They'll feed on this forage till this product till about the 10th of April, and then we'll probably start backing them, taking them off of them, going strictly to alfalfa and orchard grass pastures again.
So these cattle here are ready for processing?
These cattle are ready for process. Not all these cattle are going to be processed. There are some replacements in here. So we have to watch their condition scores so that we don't get them too fat. If we're going to use them for reproduction later on in life, we don't want them too fat. But we also want these cattle to be in good condition when we get ready to breed them. And so what we're doing with
these guys are around 18 months?
These cattle are between 18 and 22 months of age.
And this one looks like he's fed very well right there.
She's done real well. And we'll probably keep her as a replacement. She's got a white tag in her, so you realize that she's from that group of cows over there by that bull that we just talked about.
And why is she a replacement? What do you mean by replacement?
Well, she's got a lot of, if you see how straight she is in her top, from her point of her shoulder back to her pin bone. She's really straight outline. She's deep in her forerib. What that means, she can convert forage, roughage to meat. That's what we're trying to do here. She's structurally correct. When you look at her, she's balanced in the way she looks. That's her phenotype. Her genotype also, she's about a 5-star on tenderness.
Oh, yummy.
So we want to keep producing product. Her mother is a 5-star cow. We did do some DNA testing on her mother, and her sire is a 4-star bull. So she's at least a 5-star or 4-star. She could be a 5-star. So we want to keep her in our herd and produce calves out of her or replacements out of her so we can perpetuate that tenderness allele.
Yeah, definitely seeing some of the other cows where the back is not straight. They got more of a, like these got a little more of a hump on the.
Yes, you can see this other white tag heifer. She's a 4-star. So we're going to keep these heifers for our replacement females.
And you're process 2 to 4 of them at a time?
These other cattle, like this orange tag female, number 5, see how she's a little bit more elongated? She's a little bit taller. She has a little more altitude to her. We probably won't keep her for a replacement. She'll be processed, okay? Plus, we don't have as much information as we do on her because we bought a group of cows to try to increase our numbers of cows here, and she came in on a group of cows as a baby. So we don't have as much information. But you see the 897, how she's very similar to the 8620. So we'll keep these heifers for replacement females, and they'll make cows.
Wow. It's pretty spectacular.
It's kind of interesting work, and this is what I like doing. I like doing genetics. I like doing forages. So.
Trying to create the perfect cow. The perfect dinner.
Well, if they come to your restaurant and they have a bad eating experience, we both lost.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to open my own restaurant that serves locally grown food prepared with a creative flair. And thanks to Commonwealth Bank and Trust, my restaurant is now a reality. Commonwealth Bank provided me with all the banking options I needed. They make decisions locally, provide superior service, and best of all, they treat me like family. So whatever your banking needs may be, check out Commonwealth Bank, and rest assured, you'll be in the hands of people who treat you like family.
Cool Tools is brought to you by the Dine Company.
Welcome to another segment of Cool Tools brought to you by the Dine Company. We have here the Waring Stick Blender. It's an immersion blender. This is my favorite tool in the kitchen. It's very versatile, can be used for just about anything that you want to mash, blend, and mix. Today we're going to make a little cocktail drink here with some frozen raspberries. We're going to put a little bit of simple syrup in here and also Absolut vodka. All I got to do is put it in here, turn it on, and we're going to blend up there. And there we go. We got a nice little raspberry and Absolut cocktail. Also very versatile here. We're going to make some balsamic vinaigrette. Start off with a little bit of vinegar, and fresh basil, and garlic. And you just want to pour in the oil real slowly here and let it all kind of grab and emulsify the fats together. And there we go. We got balsamic vinaigrette. And we use this at the home. And for my restaurant, we have big toys for big boys. The big immersion stick blender. Now that's Cool Tools from the Dine Company.
For all of your culinary needs, come to the Dine Company at 3110 Preston Highway or check us out at dinecompany.com.
With 30 years experience in the industry, I've seen the evolution of the point-of-sale system. From the early days of the handwritten checks to now the amazing Aloha system. Here at Berenice, we chose Aloha, first of all, for its exceptional service, but also its ease of use. We can split checks, even individual items. I can check sales reports, product mix reports. I can literally run the entire restaurant from this one computer. This is why Aloha is our system of choice.
We know what it's like to be part of a great team, and the Kentucky Department of Agriculture has put one together with Kentucky's growers and food producers.
Look for the Kentucky Proud symbol at your grocery store.
The products are grown and made right here in Kentucky, so it just makes sense they're fresher and taste better.
So be a part of our team. Buy Kentucky Proud.
Nothing else is close.
Doing things differently leads to something exceptional in an absolute world.
Welcome to another exceptional experience brought to you by Absolut. Let's see what exceptional cocktail my award-winning bartender Rory is going to shake up for us today.
The martini we're doing today is the berry acai martini. What we're going to do is we're going to start with about a half of a blood orange, say about 6 to 8 segments. Going to move on to a handful of blueberries. Hit that with about a half an ounce of simple syrup, about an ounce of white grape juice. Going to muddle that together. By muddling, just mean taking the mortar here and kind of releasing all the juices, getting everything mixed together real nice. Going to move on to the Absolut Berri acai. Going to do 1.5 ounces of that. Going to add in a little ice. Give that a nice shake, get everything mixed together. Come out a really, really nice color. Going to strain that into our glass. Absolutely beautiful color. We're going to finish that with a skewer of blueberries. Now that is an exceptional cocktail.
Recipe of the Week brought to you by Kentucky Proud.
Once again, we've enjoyed the hospitality of Foxhollow Farm. Now we understand why biodynamic grass-fed beef is healthier for us and also tastes better. We've learned about various cuts of meats, and we know what to look for now when we're buying our favorite cut. And today I thought I'd prepare some of their beef brisket. This is one of those cuts that people don't eat every day, and it can be tough if you don't cook it right. And the trick is a slow, low temperature, long braising process. I've taken the meat and roll it in flour and sear it to keep in all its juices. I placed it in a pan with some carrots and onions and celery and some liquid broth, and we want to cover it about 2/3 of a way. Cover it in foil and put it in about a 350-degree oven for about 5 hours. You want to slow roast it till it becomes nice and tender. Once the meat has reached that point, you want to pull it out and puree all that liquid and vegetables in there. Take a little bit of roux and you can tighten it up, and it makes a wonderful gravy for this dish. And this is really nice. It's nice and delicate, just melts in your mouth, and I thought it's such a great dish to highlight. And for this recipe and many more like them, visit BigWorldOfFood.com. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune into the Big World of Food Sundays, CW Louisville at 5:30. Until then, I'm your host, Chef John Berenice. And in the meantime, visit me at my restaurant, Berenice, 2106 Frankfort Avenue.